Well, incitement was a word that we heard a lot today from House Democrats. It means speech or action that encourages unlawful behavior. Listen to Congressman Jim McGovern, who's the Democratic chairman of the House Rules Committee from Massachusetts, as he spoke of this.
Mr. Speaker, when my friends talk about the president being committed to a peaceful transition, I just point to what happened on Wednesday when his words launched a violent attack against this Capitol, where 5 people lost their lives and many more were injured. So give me a break. You know, I will remind everybody here that words have consequences, and ignoring words that are wrong also have consequences. You know, what happened would never have happened if everybody stood up in unity and called out the president when he was not telling the American people the truth, when he was pushing a big lie. We will never have unity without truth and also without accountability. This impeachment resolution outlines the truth of what Trump did. It is time that this Congress now holds him accountable for his words and for their devastating impact.
Congressman Jim McGovern of Massachusetts joins us live on the phone right now with more on this. Congressman McGovern, thanks for being with us. And let me just ask a question that may be in the minds of a lot of Americans. Why now, just a week away from the end of President Trump's term? Do you think it is imperative to put the country through an impeachment and trial and removal from office, even though he's only got a week left?
Well, I think the better question is, was it fair and appropriate for the President of the United States to put the nation through what he did last Wednesday? Look, he instigated what amounts to an insurrection, a violent attack on the United States Capitol. People died. People were injured. The property was destroyed. So, look, we have an obligation to respond. To do nothing, to simply do as some of my Republican colleagues have suggested, well, let him just finish the term out and it's almost over. Well, he would do it again. This is unprecedented, and it deserves a strong and a meaningful response, and that is what this is. And so, look, we passed impeachment today. I would like the Senate to take it up as soon as possible because, I don't believe it is safe for our country or for the world to have him in the White House for one more minute. But at a very minimum, we responded in a way that I think is appropriate. And he is now the first president in U.S. history to ever be impeached twice. And it was a bipartisan vote.
Right, with 10 Republicans. Let me ask you, in your speech, Congressman, you talked about having worked as a staffer on Capitol Hill and now serving the people of Massachusetts there and having experienced this attack and trying to take up the responsibility of figuring out what accountability looks like after it. Can you reflect on that, on how you feel about that place, that building, that community, and what you're doing now in relation to that?
Look, I love this place, and I began as a college intern back in the late 1970s working for Senator George McGovern, no relation, and then I worked for Congressman Joe Moakley of South Boston, and then I got elected myself. I had some incredible experiences up here. I met my wife working on Capitol Hill. She was working for another Massachusetts congressman, and I have seen some incredible great's occur in the House and the Senate, and I have such reverence for the Capitol. I was in the Speaker's chair on Wednesday when this mob infiltrated the Capitol, and I remember waiting until everybody was out of the chamber, and I walked into the Speaker's lobby, which is right off the floor, and I saw this angry mob, trying to break the glass doors in the Speaker's lobby to get access to the House floor. And when I looked into their eyes, I literally saw evil. It was these people were not protesters here to make a political point. They were here to destroy property, to desecrate this incredible symbol of our freedom and democracy, and they were here to hurt people. This is a temple of freedom and justice. Staff that work here want to make this country better, and they were at risk. All the support people that work here, from the cafeteria workers to the parliamentarians, I mean, they are all, they are all essential here. But people were sending text messages to say goodbye to their loved ones. This was unconscionable, what happened here.
And Congressman, I wonder if you could take up the argument that the Republicans were making, that Democrats are using a double standard because supposedly Democrats insufficiently criticized the violence surrounding the Black Lives Matter protests of last summer. How do you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, these are false equivalencies. I mean, the Capitol was occupied for the first time since 1812 by people who wanted to null and void the people's voice in the last election. The president of the United States, called together a mob, and those are the words of Liz Cheney. But this mob that they included, white supremacists and neo-Nazis and people who are not interested in anything, in any way supportive of our democracy. But these people will get up and engage in whataboutism. I mean, do not diminish what happened on the Capitol campus on Wednesday. I mean, it was a horrifying event. It was an attack on our democracy. It has made us look diminished in the eyes of the world. I mean, we're the beacon of democracy, and here we are with this terrible display. And now, as we're talking, I mean, I'm in my Capitol office, this temple of freedom and democracy. We are surrounded, by huge fences. There's essentially a lockdown here. People can't get in here. I mean, that's the sad reality in the aftermath of that terrible event on Wednesday. Look, Democrats condemn violence, but let us not compare protests with an attempted coup. And I really, reject those kind of comparisons.
All right, it is sad, heartbreaking, Congressman Jim McGovern. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you. Be safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.